Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. This is our WWE show for the week. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner, Alpha.
Thanks, Sika.
Why are you doing the W's?
No, they actually did that first back in the day.
Nah,
Gary Rhodes and everybody. Yeah, actually, the Head Shrinkers did it first.
The Head
Alpha
Shrinkers
did it for the Head Shrinkers. Remember before the match, Alpha have them out there.
Anyway,
Then they'd have like all kinds of crazy shit.
let's go right into the show.
Oh, well, thanks for interrupting me because your boy stole it from the Head Shrinkers. Anyways,
First we have the chairman of the board
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
and the new GM, Brad Maddox, coming out.
Hi, folks.
That's bad.
That's what he looks like he sounds like.
He was asking Brad's opinion on Daniel Bryan, which brought out the goat face killer, Daniel Bryan himself.
Trademark.
Anyhow, where Bryan and Vince McMahon get into a little verbal confrontation with each other. I thought it was kind of cool what they did.
I think it was cool, but they kind of took away from Maddox because they just like brushed him out of the ring. He's their general manager, and he's supposed to have the authority of the show, even though he's Vince's lackey. I mean, do you think if it was back in 2002, and would they have kicked Jonathan Coachman out of there?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I don't think it matters because
I think it hurts his character a little bit.
I thought the funniest things were the "let me get down to your level," and then when Bryan talked, he said, "Let me stand up to your level."
Yeah.
And I did think it was kind of cool that Daniel Bryan said, "The one thing I like about you, Vince, is you've always told the truth to me, whether I like it or not. You always told me your real opinion." So they walk away. As they're walking away, the Shield come to the ring, which I kind of thought that the Shield would come down and attack Bryan as, doing Vince's bidding or whatever. But it wasn't so. They just came out for their match, which was next. And that was the Shield versus the Uso brothers and Mark Henry.
That was a solid match.
Do you think they went too quick with this? This could have been a SummerSlam match.
Oh, it should have been a SummerSlam match. I would have, unless they're going to build it where...
You know what the rumor for SummerSlam is? Henry and Show versus Shield. I don't know.
I like the Usos, man.
I do too, but I just don't... I mean, with them losing again, it just... To me...
You're talking about the Usos and Henry?
Yeah, I mean... I think it hurts their character for them to be losing, especially since they're brand new into the upper echelon.
What they could have done is just turned it into a skirmish where everything went haywire and had double disqualification or something like that. Big old barroom fight. I think that would have been a better ending. But
Somebody say who's?
How impressed are you with the fact that Henry went from being a top heel to one of the top faces now?
The guy's got it, man. He's got charisma.
Do you just think it's just a little too late though in his career? I mean,
Yeah.
I know he signed another 3-year deal.
No, I don't think it's too late. I think some people, it takes them a little bit. It's Lance Storm mentioned it on his Twitter. Someone had asked him something about being a veteran. He said, "I don't consider anybody a veteran unless they have 10 years in and 1,000 matches in." Well, basically, he's saying you don't really get it until you've been in there enough. And if you look at it, look at the guys like Daniel Bryan, who's clicked now. He's been wrestling for 10 years plus. CM Punk, too. Guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, you got your anomalies like The Rock that just came in and got it right away. John Cena was a guy that he was, basically 2-3 years of training, and he was right there and he got it. Some people it just clicks early. Some people, even the great Mick Foley, took him years before he went on to greatness. Like Kane bounced around as doing a bunch of different crap before he became great.
Yeah, I just think I'm happy for Henry though. I really am. I mean, I remember how he was when he first came out. He was greener than baby shit, and I think the WWE just really is like, well, here we're just going to use you by your name and put you in some matches and let the other guy carry you for a little bit. And I think right now he's just really into wrestling. I think that's his love. That's what he wants to do.
Exactly. That's what he do.
That's what he do.
His heart don't pump Kool-Aid.
No, it does not pump Kool-Aid.
But the next match, we got a guy whose heart pumps cannabis. Rob Van Dam versus Fandango. I thought it was a good match. I could have lived without the count-out ending. I'd really like to see these guys maybe go out at SummerSlam, giving them a 15-minute match. I think Fandango, even though the hype on him's cooled a little bit, he's a tremendous wrestler.
Well, I think they should have went further. I mean, the whole thing with Jericho, he beats Jericho at WrestleMania, then it just kind of like, he was stagnant ever since. And the fans were really into
the
this
concussion
guy.
hurt.
Yeah.
The concussion hurt. The timing on that was bad.
Well, he could have came out and danced and, just walked away like he did beforehand. Says, no, I don't want to wrestle you. Just like he did at the beginning. Just to keep his name out there, keep his face on the television.
You know whose face I don't mind seeing on the television?
Who's that?
The Divas champion, AJ Lee. And she was wrestling in a non-title match against Caitlyn, where I guess the stipulation was if Caitlyn won, she got another shot. If not, she never did. It's kind of like what they were alluding to on commentary, although it wasn't specifically stated. I thought it was a decent match. Some good chain wrestling by AJ Lee. AJ's getting better and better. Caitlyn's a pretty good wrestler herself. Caitlyn wins with the spear. AJ flips out, Dolph comes out and makes fun of her basically and challenges Big E Langston to a match, which they go right into.
Before we get to the next match, this Caitlyn and AJ, do you think it's kind of like a modern day Trish and Lita?
I think it's different.
I think they could be at that level though. I mean, these two, like you said, they're good wrestlers. And they're great talkers. I mean, AJ more than Caitlyn, I would say.
I just think Caitlyn's kind of that Tory / Jazz / almost a China, but not exactly,
Not quite Beth Phoenix.
Not quite a Beth Phoenix, yeah. Where she's bigger and more imposing than the other women, but not on the level of a Beth or a
Victoria.
China. Kind of like that, yeah. That's the character she has. I'm kind of tired of these two matching up with each other, to be honest with you. I'd like to see them move on to others. Maybe they could come back to each other at some other point.
Well, they are the best two female wrestlers in the company, I would say, right now.
Not only Neidhart's still there.
Well, Natalie is, but, I mean, really, they're just
Tamina
shitting on
Snuka.
her. Tamina's still greener than these two, I think.
Layla's pretty good.
Yeah, but they don't ever give her anything.
I'm just saying, you said the best in there.
Right now, that's on the television, these two are the best. It's either those or the Bellas.
It's because they're really the only ones. But
anyways.
Then they go right into the match after that, Dolph versus Big E Langston. Another match I thought they should have held out until a pay-per-view. They did do the ending where AJ attacked Dolph in the middle of the match, so maybe we're going to get a SummerSlam match with a bigger match for him. I think that actually, if they put that match on the card, I think it could be one of the show stealers, Dolph and Big E Langston.
I think so too. I think the way the chemistry these two guys have, because they've been working with each other for so long, I think it would really sell great for a SummerSlam match and really help Dolph get back where he belongs, back in the main event picture.
Speaking of two guys in the main event picture, you like I'm segueing these real good today.
You're really good.
We had the creepy little bastard Christian versus Alberto Del Rio. Now before this, they had mentioned that Alberto is going to get to choose his opponent at SummerSlam just like Cena did. And I thought the funniest line of the night was Michael Cole said, do you think if Christian beats Alberto that he'll choose him as his opponent? Jerry Lawler said, why would he choose him if he just beat him?
Mm-hmm.
He's got to choose somebody he could definitely beat. Which is a smart strategy. I thought it was a solid match. Christian does win the match. Alberto just, without Roberto Rodriguez, it's kind of taken a lot away from the character.
No, I agree.
You're seeing more of the holes and flaws in his character, whereas before Rodriguez would take away from that with his involvement on the outside.
I, for one, wouldn't mind seeing Christian have the belt one more time.
Christian?
Christian!
One more?
At last?
One more?
Hey, one more. I think one more would hurt.
One more match?
One more championship.
He don't need it.
I don't know. I think it'd be nice.
Yeah, I don't think he needs it. There's so many good young talent that could use a rub better than him.
I would like to at least see this. Like him win it and then Sandow cash it in.
Maybe.
It might not be the same night or...
Not same night.
I'll do it on Raw the next night.
Yeah.
Build up for the next Raw.
Anyway. Speaking of Sandow, his former tag team partner Cody Rhodes was in a match with Wade Barrett. I thought it was a decent match. Sandow comes out at the end, talks about the events of the week before where Cody threw the briefcase into the Gulf of Mexico. How much crap have they thrown?
Dude, that's when I get a metal
Mexico?
detector and go out in that bitch.
I don't know if they've thrown the belts. The belts, I think, were in the Hudson River.
I thought they were out there. No, the Cena one where Cena and Edge's belt. That one's in the Gulf of Mexico because remember he speared Edge into the Gulf of Mexico or something like that. I can't remember.
Chavo's been thrown in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
Remember Punk did that.
Yeah.
I know the Hudson River's got the Intercontinental belt when Austin threw it. And I think it got
It really hurts me to do this.
It got Rocky's beeper too, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's been a lot of. That seems to be their go-to thing.
You see the 316 beeper. Half the people watching the show be like, "What the hell's a beeper?"
Sorry, folks. 90s reference. And who was it that did the hardcore match where they wrestled into the Gulf of Mexico? It was Al Snow
Al
and somebody
Snow
else.
and
Hardcore Holly, was it?
Hardcore Holly, but it was before he was Hardcore Holly. Snow, he was Bob Holly, but he was still the Job Squad Bob Holly. He became hardcore after he won the belt.
Okay.
That was a pretty brutal match. I was actually just watching that not too long back. What's up with Barrett though, man? I mean, honestly, they built this guy up to be amazing. Like he was supposed to win last year's Money in the Bank, and now they've already shit him. I mean, I'm just wondering who the hell did he piss off? I mean,
Well, if you look at it, there's so much talent that they brought up that surpassed him. Sandow's passed him, Rhodes has passed him, the Shield's passed him, the Wyatt family's passed him, heck, even Fandango's gone past him. Biggie Langston. I mean, it's a sink or swim business, and if you don't grab and
yeah. Well, I think he's never really changed his character. He's still the guy that was the leader of the Shield.
he's added the beard,
That's about it.
and now he's more of a brawler.
It's the same match, man. He just has a different move,
Yeah.
but he'll still use Wasteland.
Yeah. Speaking of beards, we got Daniel Bryan versus Kane. Now, I thought this was a very solid match. The one thing that aggravated me, if they're going to go with a Daniel Bryan title run, this could have easily been one of the lesser pay-per-views main events.
Mm-hmm.
They should have saved this for, Backlash, Payback, whatever retarded, stupid between main pay-per-views.
Well, I think it had to happen though before he got the title. If you notice, it was a roll-up victory, so it wasn't
Mr.
like
Small Package.
exactly. So it wasn't like a big giant, that he made Kane submit or anything like that. So I think they could still have a match at a main event level pay-per-view.
I don't know. That kind of irked me a little bit. Then after the match, Kane chokeslams Daniel Bryan. Daniel rolls out and walks away and leaves the Wyatt family to attack. I thought Kane had a solid strategy going after Bray Wyatt.
Oh, right off the bat, yeah.
Made sense, really did. But then the Wyatts, I guess the numbers got into his favor. I guess Daniel Bryan didn't help Kane because of the chokeslam or whatever. But the Wyatts come out. Bray Wyatt grabs the microphone. What is it? What are they calling this move? The Last Kiss?
Something like that. I can't remember.
But I think it's the same move that Reno used to do in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a twisting flatliner.
Yeah. I'm just so impressed with the Wyatt family.
Well, they're good wrestlers.
I was impressed with the Shield. I'm still impressed with the Shield.
Yeah, Shield was awesome.
I like the fact that there's another
Faction.
It kind of reminds you of back in the day, back in the Attitude Era, you still had
Los Boricuas?
no.
You loved Los Boricuas.
No, they had.
You were a Miguel fan.
He had a sweater on all the time. No, but you had the Nation and you had DX. You had DOA.
Los Boricuas.
Los Boricuas. They didn't really last that long.
The Heart Foundation.
You had all those different factions, and I think that really
Job
helped.
Squad. The Ministry. The Corporation. The Corporate Ministry. The Union.
Then you'd write the censor later on.
Yeah. What did Union stand for? It was like Union of some. They were all ex-corporation members, led by Foley. But I like the interaction. I like Bray Wyatt when he said, "You say that you're the devil's favorite demon. Watch out who you say that in front of." Kind of implying that he's the devil, which is cool. Next we had something that even the devil would hate. Natalya Neidhart versus Brie Bella. The lead up into this, they were making fun of her, kind of reminiscent of the Piggy James situation, calling her the ugly duckling in the Total Divas. So in the match, Brie's wrestling. Nikki comes out with either a kazoo or a duck call. I think they were trying to make it a duck call, but I think they used it a kazoo, and distracts Natalya so Brie could get a roll up win. Must have learned that from her boyfriend. I thought it was a terrible, terrible match.
I just felt bad for Natalya. Just like Natalya, we were sitting there talking, and she technically is the best female wrestler there is right now.
Yeah. At least in this company. I think that Gail Kim's better.
Yeah. I'd like to see a match between them two. I really would.
I think they had some.
But main event worthy. Anyways.
Speaking of that, that feud is based off of Total Divas. And we're going to go on our question of the week from last week, which was, will you watch Total Divas? Now, we got some answers from our friends, and I'll read them off before I go on ours. First is from Aaron Lease. I will never watch Total Divas. How the hell this became a show is beyond me. Wrestling fans have no interest in this, and non-wrestling fans won't watch because they think it has something to do with wrestling. I'd rather watch Vicky say, excuse me for an hour than subject myself to this.
Nice.
This is from our friend Josh Adams. He puts, hell no. To the Divas shit, LOL. I can't deal with the WWE Divas, LOL, Celebrity Wars. But, again, pretty much the same thing. And then our friend Closure Douglas, after watching the encore of Total Divas after Raw, I have to say it wasn't as bad as I originally predicted. Did you watch the show, Gary?
No.
I watched it. I'm not going to lie. I was intrigued. It was Sunday night, 10 o'clock at night. I wasn't quite ready for bed. There wasn't nothing else on. I didn't feel like watching the news or Sports Center. So I tuned in. I said, let me check this out. It wasn't terrible. It's not really my cup of tea. I'm not a reality fan. There was some things that continuity-wise bothered me. They did the week before WrestleMania. However, they kept messing with the time frames. Little continuity issues, but I thought it was okay. It wasn't horrible. I wouldn't look for it again, but I wouldn't exactly. I'm not going to search it out to watch it again, but I wouldn't turn it off if it was on. Basically. Now after that, we'll go into a little bit better question, probably a more positive answer. For this week, what is your favorite piece of wrestling memorabilia that you own? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our Facebook, hit us up on our Twitter, put it down where?
Down there.
Down in the comments. Next, we had a blast from the past, some wrestling memorabilia. Curtis Axel versus R-Truth. It's funny that your name is R-Truth, because R-Truth is that when you're a Heyman guy, you're at the top of the heap, just like Curtis Axel. Curtis Axel's getting the rub of his life with the Messiah of Wrestling. This is the only match of the night that didn't have an actual announced ending. I'm guessing it was thrown out when CM Punk came to the ring, attacked Axel, and tried to get at Heyman, the ungrateful bastard that he is. I gotta stick with my guy.
What you? Yeah.
I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
You are a Paul Heyman guy. I'll give you that.
I'm not a CM Punk guy.
What?
Now, CM Punk is awesome. I'm not gonna lie. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, and realistically, they're both friends and working through all this crap.
Now, this brings up a good situation, though. What do you think would work? I mean, did you like them working together or against each other?
Both.
No, I'm saying if you had a choice, you can only choose one. What would you rather see?
I'd rather see them against each other because CM Punk doesn't need him.
No, you don't.
I actually like the face CM Punk better than the heel CM Punk.
Really? Yeah, I'm a heel CM Punk fan, but I like him as a face too.
Hear me out on this one, because he's great either way. He's one of the wrestlers that can play any role great, but as a face, I think you get to see more of CM Punk's actual ring talent. Whereas a heel, he's more of a cowardly heel, and you don't see the ring talent that he has.
Yeah, almost like Savage-esque. You remember? Yeah, I mean, he has more of that. When he's a heel, he wrestles more like Savage is a heel.
I think he's as close as Randy Savage is we're ever going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Again. Not no knock on CM Punk, he's his own thing altogether, but that's the closest comparison you're going to find.
Yeah.
Now the next guy gets compared to Goldberg all the time.
It pisses him off now, I think.
And that's Ryback versus John Cena in a tables match.
I don't want you to talk about this match here because you were really disappointed in this match.
It's something.
Spew your poison.
While it was going on, me and a friend of mine named Bunkhouse Bob, who's on the IWX show, and we're talking back and forth on Twitter. To me, it really seemed like it was very clunky, very orchestrated. It looked like they went through this match one too many damn times because you could see, and I mentioned this to him, it kind of reminded me, if you remember your first school dance, when you were so excited to go with that beautiful girl or guy, whatever he may appear like, and you worked out your dance moves so much that when you got there, you were dancing and counting the moves in your head. And to me, it was so fucking worked out that it took away from it. There was one point in the match where Ryback's holding him up for a press slam, and you could see he puts him out over the table, and they make it look like Cena wiggled out of the way of the table. You could see from the angle that he wasn't ever going to hit the table. I mean, it was just little things. The chair, the steps when they threw the steps at each other. It was garbage to me. I just didn't like it at all. I think for a tables match to work, and this is no knock on John Cena, no knock on Ryback. If you would have took one of these guys and put him in a ring, put him in there with a Daniel Bryan, a CM Punk, Edge, Dolph Ziggler. You need that guy that's a ring general in a match like this to work around. Because you can't... The beauty of these matches is a spontaneity. You may have called spots, but to getting to those called spots, you need to go. Like the tease with the tables, you know. It's the little nuances that make these matches great. And they missed out on every one of them.
I have to agree with you. It was terrible to me. I'll even admit I didn't watch the whole thing. I would just go back and forth to it because I was just so. It was the main event. It didn't feel like a main event match. It didn't feel like these guys put everything into it. Like you said, if they would have had someone like Bryan, Punk, Edge, Christian, Dolph, someone that could work. RVD would have been perfect to put against Ryback. You know, your
Airbrush versus airbrush.
Exactly. They do those tights look nice. I don't know, just something. Cody Rhodes would have been perfect.
I mean, that's the thing.
But not to interrupt you, but you remember the match that Sheamus and Sandow had was it a chair match or a tables match?
Yeah.
And I think a guy like Sandow, Sandow does have experience.
Even Sheamus is great in tables matches.
Mm-hmm. Won his first WWE Championship in a tables match.
Yeah. Cena, we all know that Cena has a set of moves, his called moves that he does, and he doesn't really vary from them that often. Ryback is similar. I just didn't like the pair. I think a regular match between the two would have been easier and better.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, we got Daniel Bryan comes out, does a little thing with the belt, ends with Daniel Bryan going, yes, yes. Don't hate because you know he's great. The best in the world. Mr. Small Package.
Anyways,
Let's go right into the ratings for the show. Now, if you've seen our show before, you know what it is. If not, we have a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Basically, 1's a Great Khali, 2's a Sheamus, 3's a Randy Orton, 4's a Daniel Bryan, 5's a CM Punk. I'm giving this a 2, a Sheamus. There was a lot of hit and misses. The main event was terrible. The Natalie and Brie Bella was terrible. Truth and Axel with the schmaz, I just didn't like it. There was a lot of matches that could have been good. Shield versus Usos and Henry, Rob Van Dam versus Fandango, Rhodes and Barrett, Bryan and Kane, that just didn't pan out well. And I give it a 2. I give it a Sheamus.
giving him 1, Khali. I was just total. It was just total bullshit. Not total divas, but total bullshit. It was not really, except for the little bit of appearance from Bryan, the Bryant match.
Well, it started off so well.
Punk.
With Daniel Bryan and Vince.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It started off at such a high peak and just dropped straight down.
Yeah. And to me, there was too many run-ins. I mean, almost all the matches had some sort of run-in after it or during.
It
Kind of
appears
felt
to
like
me.
a Monday Nitro.
It appears to me whenever they do these taped shows, because they're overseas right now, that they just don't put a lot into it. They just rush it so they can go to the hotel, go to the airport, fly overseas, and get their matches done there. I really don't like it when they double up. Why don't they just do the show? Why didn't they just shoot Raw over there?
Why don't they do the England thing and shoot it the same day like they do in England?
Yeah.
Or the day before even. But anyway. Basically, that's all I have to say. Anything you want to
That's it
add?
for me, my friend.
My name is George Coles,
Gary Rhodes.
and this has been Heel Heat.